What's up, everybody? Welcome to Bushwick Bears Petty Crime Review. This week we got Casey James Salengo joining us in the studio.
We're talking about shoplifting and professional wrestling.
And you probably saw Casey on our last live show at the Stand Comedy Club. Well, guess what? We're coming back June 2nd, 9:30 p.m. Tickets are going on sale right now.
Hell yeah, boys. I love the Bears.
Casey, are you one of the jiu-jitsu boys?
No, I took one of those classes and I puked. And, I didn't want to do it. I did wrestle as my old. We're recording now?
Yeah.
I put on my recording voice. Yeah. I have to talk louder.
Well, we
No one can
like to
understand me.
naturally.
Yeah, we try
I
to-
can't do it. You got to warm it.
Are we recording or aren't we?
We are recording.
Yes, I did it one. My old boss, Brad Hagen, you know
Yeah.
him, so he was my dog walking boss. And
Did
I got to wrestle him one
Brad
time,
Hagen.
and he's like, all right. He's like, we're only going like 50% now, you know, because he knew I was going to beat his ass.
Well, you
that was the
are
one fun
twice
part.
his size at
I
least.
know. You always want an opportunity to kick your boss's ass, though, in a controlled setting.
When
No
it
matter
comes
if they're a friend or not.
when it comes to authority figures, I love punching down.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck.
It's great.
I had a boss at a bar, and he was like your size, Boris.
You mean physically punching down?
Physically punching down, yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
but you're punching up when it comes to the power.
The power,
hierarchy.
yeah.
Power respect.
He was definitely my boss, and he always wanted to. He'd get drunk and always wanted to try to wrestle or fight.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm a nice guy, but I know how to fight, and I know how to wrestle, and I know how to do everything. And mind you, I got 100 pounds on this guy. Easy.
Yeah.
And he'd always come at me, and he would do the same thing. He would duck down and try to maybe he was gonna try to shoot on me,
Oh,
and he'd
boy.
end up at my waist.
That's what I would try to do too. You know, like you're bigger, I would try to take you down from like lower center of
It sounds like
gravity.
this guy's starting it, though.
He always
doesn't
started
need
it.
to. It didn't need to happen.
Yeah, I was always starting it, and I would always just grab up his neck, and I'd just stand back, and I would guillotine him till he went out or tapped.
Oh, my
And
Lord.
we
Yeah.
would start over.
Wow.
See, I have this thing, Jericho and I have this thing where I mentioned before. I was like, I would like to pay some guy who is my size and specifications to just blindly
Specifications.
Specification.
The same blood
The same-
sugar level.
Same blood type.
yeah. Typo, positive blood, blonde hair, blue eyed, just whatever. No, but like a guy who's 6'4", 300 something pounds to just attack Diego Lopez out of the blue. Just so I could see what would happen to me
That's
if
fun.
I did it.
If you had to, you
Oh.
want to attack Diego
Oh,
Lopez?
just-
I don't want
As-
to. I don't want
you
to attack
should do it.
Diego because
Do it.
I look at talk about somebody being smaller. It's like
Yeah.
Diego's half my size probably.
Yeah.
He's probably maybe 160, 170,
Yeah.
I mean, he's shredded, but but I initially when I first met him, I'm like, this dude, come on, man. And then everybody's like, no, he's
No, I mean it's just like the classic thing with anybody. Just if anybody has that much cauliflower ear,
yeah, I
That
know.
just means they've-
he had a skull
okay.
cap on.
If
when I met
anyone
him. I
has
didn't
that
see
much
it.
cauliflower ear, that means they've trained a lot and hard.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know. No matter what it is, they've done it a lot.
Just check the
Yeah.
ears.
But Diego, me and you are basically the same size, and I have attacked Diego
Oh, wow.
with full
Really?
strength, full speed, and he kicks my ass
Wow.
like I'm a child, still to this day.
Wow.
Incredible.
I believe it.
Are you
though.
training in jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, I have been for a
Do
few
you
years.
think you'll get to a point where you can beat his ass someday?
Oh, I
that what
doubt
you're
it.
trying-
I
No?
doubt it. Yeah.
Well, if he
Heck
gets
yeah.
hit by
Beat
a
his
car,
ass. If he gets hit by a car and then is
Yeah, I'll
is
hit
a
him with a car.
paraplegic,
he's
I-
wheelchair bound.
Yeah, or if you use a gun.
if
Yeah.
he gets hit by a car and becomes a paraplegic, I'd probably still lose. somehow.
I'll hit him with a car. You shoot him, and then you wrestle him, and maybe you can get him.
Speaking of the cauliflower ear, the time that part of the veneer of professional wrestling was lifted for me was when I heard Hulk Hogan making fun of Ric Flair's cauliflower ear.
Yeah.
How'd that happen? When that happened?
It was during the WCW era.
The Monday
when-
Night Wars. I just wrote an essay about this. I do that in my personal time. I write essays about wrestling.
I love it.
No,
Yeah.
it's awesome. I mean, put that degree to use.
I'm doing something.
Hell yeah.
The first time I ever even heard of cauliflower ear was, maybe you can help me remember this. There's an old guy. He was like he actually acted in a bunch of black and white movies, but he was a wrestler, big bald. He was bald. maybe like Eastern European. I
Black
forget his
climber.
name.
There's a guy named the French Angel who used to. This is a long time.
This is a
like
long time ago.
Yeah.
This is pre WWF.
Yeah, there was a guy named the French Angel. I forget his name. He looked really weird. They actually based the Shrek. Shrek was based on this guy. He was an old wrestler.
I think it might be him, but I was watching some old history of wrestling thing, and this is when I was little, and they talked about he was in a match and someone hit his ear, and his cauliflower ear was so bad his ear just ripped off.
Oh wow!
It was on TV, and I was like, "Whoa, that's so cool!"
That happened to Mick Foley. You got caught in the ropes and it ripped
Right?
off.
Oh
Just
yeah,
finished the
Jesus,
match.
that's gotta be so fucking painful.
Yeah.
Is that what happened to Van Gogh? Really?
He liked to wrestle.
He had a cauliflower and it burst in a cage match.
That actually is more logically insane than what actually happened to Van Gogh.
Yeah,
It's true.
Well, that was the thing that was like, because I always liked Hulk Hogan. I saw a Hulk Hogan body slam, Bam Bam Bigelow, Toledo Sports Arena in 1987. And I was like, Hulk Hogan must be the strongest man in the world. He's a pure god sent to us from above. Or
Wait
whatever.
a second. He's not the strongest man in the world?
No,
That's
no.
Mark Henry
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. Or
for wrestling.
or
fans.
my dad,
That's
according
it.
to him. But yeah, and so to hear Hulk Hogan, and I looked at Hulk Hogan and said, "Oh, you're not a real wrestler."
He's not the real
No,
deal. I
he's
always
just-
hated Hulk. I'm glad I missed that point of the '80s where he was huge, and then when I came in, he was just boring and kind of an asshole.
Right. Yeah.
So I never liked him. Even when I was younger, I loved Ultimate Warrior. He was my first guy.
Yeah.
So that was right after
I
Hulk.
saw him when he was the Dingo Warrior.
Dingo, where you saw him then?
Yeah,
God damn.
all black and white, and actually kind of
Wow.
looked cooler.
Yeah, he always looked kind of cool. That's all I cared about when I was little. He just looked cool.
Looked
cool.
I didn't know that
He
wrestling.
was
could get
shredded.
him. Yeah.
And then I was really into Ravishing Rick Rude.
Oh, he was. Did you ever hear that he had to have his dick cut off? That's the rumor.
What?
So
No.
Haverjack, that's a thing that
They made
old
him an
porn
extra
stars used to. Old porn stars used to shoot their dicks up with Haverjack to keep it hard,
Okay.
and they said that he used to do that all the time to a point where it got infected and had to have it cut
Oh,
off.
geez.
That's the rumor.
God.
I don't know.
That's terrible.
Let's
Ravishing-
exhume his
Nobody looked
body.
it up.
Yeah, he's dead, right?
He's
Ravishing
dead,
Rick Rude's
so
dead.
Yeah.
nobody can look it
Well,
up.
then I also found out he's gay as hell. Or was
he gay? I didn't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which was
I
like,
believe it.
oh, maybe there was something to that.
Yeah. I don't know.
No, I'm just kidding. He just had a great body. I don't know. Like when you're a fat little kid in the 80s, you're like, man, I could look like
I
that.
could look like
Yeah.
that. If I just
Keep
work
drinking
hard and
milk?
take my vitamins.
Yeah. If I eat
That
diet
one.
Pop Tarts, like I would, instead of the full flavor ones.
Oh, boy.
So I mean, yeah, those wrestling dudes are so weird because it's like some of them are super tough and some of
Yeah.
them aren't, and some of them are like incredible athletes and some of them aren't.
Yeah.
It's like the only sport, quote unquote, where you can like. There's like dudes that are like literally top of the human evolutionary food chain,
Right.
and then there are fat dudes.
Right.
There are fat dudes, and
Yeah.
there's like guys. Fat dudes are cool. There's a lot of guys now that are like chubby. Like their bodies
Yeah.
don't look like they should be in shape, but they're just
Yeah.
not putting the like they figured out how to wrestle. And a lot of the new age wrestling fans don't give that much of a shit
Yeah, right.
until they have to like be
Dad bod.
on TV, and people are like, "What the fuck? This
You
guy
talking
doesn't even
about
exercise."
dad bod?
Yeah. A lot of people are
Yeah.
like dad bod, but they're still great athletes. But if I have a shirtless on TV every week, I'd like exercise. You know?
Yeah,
I
right.
just,
If that-
right.
if that was
I
part of my
exercise
job.
a lot.
Well, I love like all the deathmatch guys. I always make fun of them, because I know those guys and I've
Yeah.
worked some of those events. I was like, yeah, all the big fat ones just have to do the most intense
Yeah,
shit
it's
because they
true.
can't jump off the rope, so they got to like take a baseball bat covered in barbed wire.
Yeah, they
You
don't.
know?
Because they don't have to like have any athleticism. They can just be tough. Did you see? Nick Gage? Ever
Oh
meet
yeah,
him?
yeah.
Oh man, I just watched his Dark Side of the Ring.
Yeah, it's
I
pretty
know
intense.
He died in a helicopter for 7 minutes after a death
Damn.
match.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh,
So he
like
actually
he was
died
like
in a
he was
death match.
medevaced out.
Yeah,
And
he
like,
got
oh,
cut
damn.
by a light tube right here, and he wanted to keep wrestling the match. They wouldn't let him.
Wait, like that really happened, or it was
That
part
really
of the-
happened. Really happened.
I don't know much about.
Here's the thing: when
wrestling.
I'm telling, if I tell a story like that, that's the thing with being a wrestling fan is you
Yeah.
tell any story and they're like, "Wait, no, it's fake." You know, I'm like, "Yeah, no, he died. He died in a helicopter."
like an accident. So I've
Yeah.
been to one. I went to a TNA.
oh wow,
match.
what years? I mean, this is gonna be all
This-
wrestling.
this
Sorry,
would
guys.
No,
be-
no, that's fantastic.
This
Trust
would
me.
be,
I'm loving it.
Like 2013 maybe or
Okay.
something.
There were a few years when it was really good, actually. Who did you see there?
I would have no idea. I don't know anything
Angle?
about it. I always
Alright.
thought it was silly and look down upon it, to
Sure,
be frank.
sure. Most people do.
Right, but I went to this match and I had a great fucking time.
Yeah.
And while I wouldn't call it a sport,
Mm-hmm.
because you'd have that diversity in their body types and what they can do, it's a performance, basically.
It's an art.
Yeah.
It's them planning out this beautiful dance.
Well, it is an art. I would agree there.
Showmanship. It's showmanship.
And it
There's so
does
much
feel like
flair
a
into it.
dance, like
Yeah,
the shit
yeah.
that they got going on together, and they're slamming garbage cans into each other.
That-
That was
that-
cool.
cool
Can't
shit.
hate.
Yeah,
Nick
it's very
Gage
cool.
is like, it's the funniest thing to me ever because he's this like ultra violent criminal, but if like all his in ring, like he's like literally like, I'm gonna murder this guy's whole family, but remember, kids, stay in school
Yeah,
and follow
yeah.
your dreams, and you can murder someone's whole entire family. He's the pizza cutter
positive.
guy, right?
Yes, he almost
one
killed.
of his moves. He always carries a round pizza cutter and cuts people's foreheads with it.
He almost killed David Arquette.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
if
when
you
David
watch,
Arquette was
Oh,
doing
yeah.
that thing.
He came
Yeah.
back to wrestling, and Nick Gage actually cut his throat with a light tube. Because
Oh,
it's
wow.
kind of Arquette's fault. He was like freaking out because he wasn't that
They
good a
do
wrestler. but
bleed.
yeah.
The one I saw, I don't know if they cut themselves.
Yeah,
or
no, they
what.
cut themselves. They got a
Yeah.
little
Well,
bit
I've done so many of these death matches now that like you get impervious, like you get dolls desensitized to like
Yeah.
this
Violence.
stuff. Yeah, but this particular kind of violence, and I remember just being downstairs in the basement, and I was counting money to pay everyone and to do everything, and it smelled so much like blood. I almost
God,
puked.
that's
Wow.
the
It
smell of blood.
It
is
smelled like a
intense.
butcher, like the butcher.
Iron.
It was iron, and I was just, there were like 6 dudes up there, and they're
God.
all cleaning them up and getting changed, and just so much blood. And I was like,
Jesus Christ.
So you're somewhat of a historian of this.
"You've been
Certainly,
into
yes,
wrestling
yes.
for a long time."
So
Yes, my whole
did
life.
you?
Is that your petty crime today?
Hey, it's actually
you're a
related.
wrestling
It is
fan?
related.
A strong fascination
Right.
with wrestling.
It actually led to my crime. You'll see.
That's
say.
that's the petty crime of being a wrestling fan.
Yeah.
It is kind
My
of a
dad
crime.
thinks he's called the cops on me a few times. Just call me a pussy.
Did you ever hear of the Grey Wojo?
The Grey Wojo? No.
He was on the
I don't-
U.S. Olympic team that one year the U.S. boycotted.
Oh,
the
really?
Olympics.
No.
Yeah, but he was also a professional wrestler, but
Uh-huh.
more of like.
Oh,
No,
I was like, there was a U.S. professional like
That'd be
wrestling.
awesome. That'd
Yeah.
be so cool.
Yeah, that's how strong the nationalism was.
No,
like
my
back
God.
then. No, but no, just because like I went to school with this kid, and he was the biggest fucking deal in our world.
Yeah.
And like it's rare to meet somebody who's actually familiar with him at all. But again, he was nobody.
It's
I guess
still,
in the
I should
greater
know
scheme.
who he is.
No,
I'm
it's
wrong.
okay. Well, your next essay
Uh-huh.
will be about,
Yeah, right about Wojo.
the
I can
great
do it.
Wojciechowski.
I can
Did
do
you
it.
guys have dumb? Because a lot of my friends watched it,
Mhm.
and I didn't watch it, but I would participate in like backyard or basement brawls.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
guys
yeah,
do
yeah,
that
yeah.
shit.
We did that a
Hit
little
each
bit.
other with chairs and shit.
Yeah, I was just so chubby and like I hadn't gone through puberty yet. I was
Yeah.
just fat and I couldn't do anything.
But that's pretty
Unathletic.
advantageous sometimes. Like I was the little guy in those things, getting thrown around sometimes.
Yeah, I guess, but I also didn't have a high tolerance for pain. I really had none of the skills to be a wrestler. That's all I wanted to do was be a wrestler, but I had nothing. So that's why I became a comic.
great
It's just
fan
the talking
also.
part. Yeah.
You were always the best when a guy like you came around because I wasn't that strong, but I wanted to do all the big strong guy moves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do it to anyone my size, but I could do
Finally,
it to you.
I can lift someone like they're my girlfriend.
Yeah, you little guys really got. Not even you're little, but just like I just remember kids getting
I'm
tossed
more
around.
I'm more offended
tossed
by you
around.
having to make
I'm
sure
sorry.
I'm
I'm
okay.
sorry. But
So-
yeah, just tossed around.
So you've always been a fan to
Mhm.
the point that you read up on it and everything like
you
that.
took a
as
charge
kid.
for wrestling.
Yeah, no, I've read a lot of books on it, documentaries. Yeah.
a lot of magazines.
Tell us
Mhm,
about
a lot of
that.
magazines. So my petty crime was me and my friends. We got on like a little stealing kick when we were like 13, 14.
Okay.
As
That
I
sounds
think
about
everybody
right.
does.
Yeah, that's about the age.
And we figured out how to do it. Like usually, what we would do, and it would be a lot of wrestling toys at first because we were in the wrestling toys. So we would. Our move was the first time I realized what to do was I had a Big Show toy, and I accidentally walked out of Walmart, not even realizing that I had it. And I was like, nobody stopped me. So that's what I was like, oh, so we just walk out of the store, and if you do that confidently, nobody stops you, and it's never stopped like
right.
that at all. But the one time we were at Stewart's, which is our local gas station, and it was like a one street town, so it was like that was the hub of socialization in town was the Stewart's, and we went and we were reading the WWE magazine, I remember as a retrospective of the Intercontinental title, and we were sitting there reading it, and my buddy was like, we should steal him, yeah. And it was like, all right, but we felt like someone would see us. So this is the one time I ever put it under my coat, and I went to walk out, and my buddy was right behind me. I walked out, and she like came and yelled at me and told me to stop the lid. And I like just stood there. I did the worst thing. I just stood there like this, like, what? No, not me. And the magazine just fell out. And my friend didn't get called. The one who fucking told me to do it because he was behind me. So then they came and sat me down the gas station. They called the cops. I was crying. I was such a pussy. I was just so embarrassed. And in front of all my friends, I was weeping. And then the cop came. The cop even felt bad for me because he was like, yeah, I think he's learned his lesson. That's why he's like, fuck no. She's like, these kids coming here stealing all the time. And all this shit. So he takes me to the station or whatever. I'm still crying the whole time. Like he's got to watch me pee.
Why do you have to watch you pee?
I don't know why. Well, I had to pee, and he said he had to watch me. So I don't know.
So sounds like a rule he just had.
It's very,
he made this rule up.
Yeah. What were you gonna ask for?
So she's pressing charges on you?
Yeah. So pressing charges,
Yeah.
but then so what happened was
You weren't like 6'1" at this point.
No, I was a tiny little boy.
Okay.
So then I had to go meet with some lady. So I was on what do they call it? Not parole, but for people like the
diversion, probation.
Probation. I was on probation.
Pre-trial intervention.
Yeah.
So I had to go on probation, and this is terrible. I just moved to a new school. So this is the beginning of the summer, and I moved to a new school that was one town over, but I only had these two friends that I was with. And as part of my probation, I couldn't hang out with them at all. And I was so afraid of authority that like I would see them in the street and I'd like cross the street. Because I was like, somebody's watching me. I couldn't see them for like a year. So I had no new friends. This magazine just ruined my life. I had to do community service, like working. I worked at like this this daycare thing, but they just had me like painting tables and stuff at first. And then they realized I got along with the kids great. So I just like play with them. And then that whole thing got weird because the little boys were all like dicks to me, and then the little girls were really nice. So I was just like play with the little girls, and then the like people running got weirded out, and they're like, "You can't hang out with the little girls anymore." So then I hang out with little boys who hated me, and then all the little girls were mad that I wasn't playing with them anymore. And the whole thing was a fucking mess. But anyway, yeah, that was my crime.
But you stayed committed to the WWE.
Oh yeah.
After
it screwed me over.
caused you so much
It
trouble.
ruined my whole life.
You know what it is? I bet. Do you hate the Intercontinental Championship?
I love the Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah,
I
for some
love
reason
it.
that always had its own appeal because it's like this guy had to travel the world.
Well, usually that title is for the guys who are really good wrestlers, you know? Like the world title was the Hulk Hogan's, whoever.
Yeah.
IC titles like Macho Man, Ricky Steamboat.
Right.
So it's the workers, as they say.
Yeah, the guys who actually. I remember seeing Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and he was like so impressive because he had the whole headdress and everything like that, and it was like it's like when everybody was like every country had like their own representative, like the Iron Sheik, you know, and
So this is all still in America, but they're kind of like dressing up.
Yeah.
as
Everybody,
yeah.
and a lot of the guys, like the Native American guys, were all like just
Italian
like
or
Mexican or
something?
something.
Yeah.
Italian.
Basically like all.
Yeah.
Ricky Steamboat's what, Mexican, right? No,
He's Mexican. Everybody's Mexican.
you guess what the Russians were called? I bet you could guess. They were a tag team. I bet you could guess their name.
Like
It's just think of like
the
stereotypical.
Bolsheviks.
Yep.
The
Really?
Bolsheviks. Yeah.
Yep.
Ah,
You did it.
Hilarious.
You did it.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
incredible.
Wow.
That was incredible.
That is pretty impressive.
That wasn't
yeah.
set up. That was incredible.
That's true.
Did your like when your fam found out? Were you in big time trouble?
No, because my family's all criminals. I don't know. It was weird. Everyone in my family.
That's the best.
They're like, welcome
response
home,
ever.
son.
I don't know what was wrong with me as a kid. I was the youngest kid. My family's all fucking criminals.
They just called you a pussy.
They
'cause
just
it
called me a
was-
pussy. My older brother and sister were always getting in trouble and shit. But
Yeah.
I was just like for some reason like obsessed with being like a good kid. So I like never got in trouble. I didn't even drink or anything in high school. Like I didn't do anything bad. So like for some reason I was just so afraid. And the cop took me home. And like my mom, she's admitted, she's like, I saw you being so upset. She's like, I don't know, I felt bad, but she's like, I had to punish you, I guess. I'd help her fucking boyfriend build like a waterfall in the backyard.
That sounds.
That's good.
Yeah, it
But,
doesn't sound like much
it
of a
wasn't bad. It
punishment.
wasn't bad
right?
at all. She
It's a
didn't know
good
what to do.
fatherly activity.
Yeah, she didn't know how to punish me because they were all
No, but I
fuck-ups.
mean that's actually a good thing to make you do. You're
Yeah,
like
yeah,
doing
yeah.
a thing with
Doing
an
some,
adult.
like, yeah, it's almost like some sort of responsibility. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
That's a good
It's
mom.
Weird. I know. Well, she wasn't a great mom, but she was good in that regard. But it was just like
But
my
she
dad.
loved you though.
Yeah, she
yeah,
loved me.
that's what's
But she
fun to do.
loved
She loved me.
waterfalls.
She
a
loved
lot.
waterfalls more than her children.
She wanted it done quick, efficiently.
I was
and cheap.
hoping. I feel like it could go either way when you have a family of criminals.
Yeah.
Is like, is one. It's like, they're like pissed off you got caught.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
how'd you
yeah.
get caught, you dummy?
I know.
You big dummy. And then the other one could be like in Goodfellas, where like, you popped your cherry.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Or that movie where Corey Haim robs banks with his dad.
What the
What's
fuck
that?
movie?
No,
is
You
that?
guys know what I'm
No,
No,
I
sir.
forget what it's called, but there's a movie where I think Corey Haim and his dad are bank robbers. It might be been a sequel too.
Wow.
damn.
Look into that.
Yeah,
Little
look it up.
Bushwick Bears viewing party.
I like bank robbing movies, especially funny ones.
It
is, yeah.
Heat.
like he.
Nick Cage robbed a bank.
That was
You
why
know
he went to
that story?
jail,
That's why
right?
he went to jail. And they said in the Dark Side of the Ring thing, he wears a mask to the ring. John Moss explains. He's like, this fucking guy wears a mask when he goes to the ring. And then the one time he decides to rob a bank, you fucking see his whole face. You just saw on the camera just his whole face. It's like, I'm like, what the fuck? He had
His weird
masks.
missing tooth. He's very.
Yeah, it's
looking
very.
at.
It's
You know, it's a
insane.
good funny one of that is JCVD. Have you ever seen that?
Oh, that movie's great. Yeah.
That movie is great.
That shit rocks.
I think you would actually dig that.
It's
Yeah, I
great.
think
It's
it would
about
too.
there's some
Yeah.
bank robbery stuff
Yeah,
involved.
but it's
there.
very meta. It's like
It's his meta.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, he delivers like his monologue. The one real monologue of his career, but it is, and I think it had to be about his life, or else
Yeah.
he wouldn't have been able to do it.
It was good.
Oh yeah, it was really good though. Yeah. It makes you feel like, oh man, this guy's actually reflective of his life. you
Dude,
know?
I idolized Jean-Claude Van Damme when I was a little
Oh,
kid.
yeah?
That's what
That
I
was
wanted
the-
to look like when I grew up, for sure.
I mean,
body, you did it.
I can't do the
You look
splits,
buff.
though. I
You're
can't do
buff.
the splits.
You can do it. Have you tried?
Yeah, no.
Didn't we all try when we were little kids?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause
I've
I
been able
loved
to do
Van
it.
Damme. I used to literally put my leg up on my dresser and try to like stretch it out. and stuff.
Yeah, I couldn't. I actually
Tied to
watched.
two ropes.
I watched a documentary about Rob Van Dam this morning.
Did you?
He can do that. He based his whole. He looks like Jean-Claude Van Damme, and he can do the splits. and
Wait, who
shit.
is Rob Van Dam?
He's a
That's what-
wrestler. He's really good.
He's very good.
Basically, like his gimmick is. He just named himself Rob Van Dam because he looks like Jean-Claude, and he's a karate guy.
Yeah.
He was awesome.
He does
doesn't
his
smoke weed.
splits and yeah, it's weird. I haven't thought. That's so funny that I haven't thought about Rob Van Dam
Oh yeah.
since like the early 2000s, and just on my YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
it's like how WWE star becomes a godfather of weed or
Yeah,
something.
he owns dispensaries now. He
Oh, wow.
actually
Good
he,
for
he
him.
just won the championship and he got busted. He got pulled over with the weed, so he got stripped of the title. He got suspended for
What?
like 30 days.
Wait.
Well, this is back when this is like years ago.
A
When
WWE
he was still like a-
title?
Yeah, he was the world champion.
like we'll take steroids, but not.
yeah, they could,
Yeah.
but this was when they were trying to like be really good. It was after Chris Benoit murdered his family. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh, yeah.
They had like
yeah.
really cracked down. He was a wrestler who he was my favorite wrestler at the time, actually.
Canadian cripple.
And he murdered his wife and son and
And
killed
then
himself.
Yeah.
And they
For real?
For real.
Yeah, for real.
For real,
It's
yes,
a
yeah.
hilarious
Not a
story.
part
It's a
of it.
hilarious storyline.
Fam, this is hilarious. This is our hilarious. Imagine the writers' room at like WWE, and they're like, "All right, I got an idea for a plot line. You guys heard about this family side?
What the fuck, Jeff? That's a terrible
We
idea.
get on the actual news. It's free
Yeah,
advertising.
that is smart. But
So
yeah.
You're like, you came up like Attitude Era. No, you said Ultimate
Yeah.
Warrior, so you're a little young.
Well, that was when I first got into it, and then when I got like deep into it was Attitude Era. Yeah.
The Attitude Era turned me off.
That was too. I mean, even as a child, sometimes I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Like
Who-
all
who
the
was
all
the
the like
Attitude Era
like
guys?
that was when like
Stone Cold, The Rock,
Oh,
Undertaker.
yeah,
Yeah,
but like when
okay.
all like the D Generation X when they all do the suck it, and you had
Yeah.
like literally 40,000 little kids
Yeah.
going suck it.
I was gonna say that's the
Yeah.
one I'm most familiar with.
That's
That's
like
the
when
one
I was like,
remember
that's
people-
kind of what I was like. That's right about when I was like late teens, early
Sure,
20.
sure.
Like that's when I was like, oh, I'm gonna go to college and be a fucking philosopher,
Uh-huh.
whatever bullshit I thought I was gonna do. You
Uh-huh.
know,
So you were like trying to be a good boy.
that's when
You were
that's when
trying
I
to
like
grow
kind of
man?
got out of wrestling.
Sure,
yeah, was
sure.
that era.
I told
Even
so many teachers to suck my dick. Not really what I'm saying.
so yeah, you didn't even know
Fuck
you what it
up.
meant,
I
right?
didn't know what it meant.
So many little kids would be like, suck it, and not even know what that meant.
Is that
yeah.
is that the one that Trump was on also?
Yeah.
That era?
He was
like the end of
he
it,
was
right?
like right after it. I'd say.
Was that a one-time thing, or was he like a reoccurring
once a
character
couple
on
times.
WWE?
It was. He got.
He was there pretty often.
He was there. He had one like match he was involved in, and then he was there for like the build-up of that. a
Yeah.
little bit. So he's feuding with Vince McMahon, and they both had guys representing them. I think Donald Trump had Bobby Lashley, and Vince McMahon had Umaga, and they wrestled at WrestleMania. And then I was actually there when Donald Trump got inducted into the Hall of Fame at Madison Square Garden. That was years ago, it was before he was president, I think. We were all like booing him and yelling, and they like came out and told us that we can't boo people. They were all
That's hilarious.
fuck you. Yeah,
So
it was awesome.
do you think your love of the publications and whatnot have led you to like write about this stuff, or was like
I don't know if that was related, but I just you know, I like to I write stuff, and I write a bunch of scripts and stuff, and whenever I get bored of whatever I'm writing, I'll just like refresh with an essay about wrestling. A lot of deep thoughts about it.
I just had assumed that like grown-ups stopped liking wrestling, right? It's kind
Yeah, a
of
lot of
what
people
I had
assume that.
assumed.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like New York comedy, whenever I moved to New York for comedy, which was like 8 years ago or something now at this point, and I was like, all these dudes love wrestling.
It's
Yeah.
weird, man, because I had like one friend growing up, the one who stole the magazine with me.
Yeah.
We were both in wrestling, but I like got him into it. And then I had like a friend in college. I got him back into it. But then I moved to New York to do comedy, and there's so many I'm in a group chat with men in their late 30s,
Yeah.
mid 40s, and we just argue about wrestling all day. I've never found so many people like wrestling.
I knew it was like a real phenomenon when like we had a live Bushwick Bears show on a Sunday, and it was during one of the big events.
nobody-
And, like,
Oh yeah.
oh yeah, like at least three of the three white dudes who were booked were like,
They're all
yeah.
canceled.
oh, I got a thing.
Was
that
I
came
one of
up.
them?
No,
Probably all right.
no,
I
no,
make
no.
sure I put it in my calendar to make sure I don't schedule.
Right, respectable, because if you have a thing that sometimes during, because I started watching wrestling around the same time. Like I caught the first end of the Stone Cold stuff, but then like I moved on and whatnot.
Yeah.
But like nowadays, like if there's like a big basketball game, because I still fuck with basketball.
Yeah, sure.
Sort of thing. But I respect that though. Versus like, I mean, if it's gonna take that much of your time, put it in your calendar.
I
Make
put
it
my
a thing.
calendar for the pay.
I love Stone Cold now because
Yeah.
it's like I kind of like I'm Stone Cold basically, right? Like that
are.
persona is kind of like what I do.
Mm-hmm.
But at the time when it came out, it just reminded me of someone my mom would date.
Yeah,
I
that
couldn't
makes
handle it.
sense.
Like this dude is like my stepdad. I hate him.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I hate him. I love The Undertaker. I was obsessed. I had like a shrine in my room. I had a cardboard cutout, like framed pictures.
Yeah.
And all these guys, The Rock, Stone Cold, would just beat him all the time. So I fucking hated all the popular dudes that everybody loved because they would just beat Undertaker's ass.
That move, I love that move, and you can't get away with this at a fucking comedy show because it's not that right energy. But I always do this at band shows, and I remember Miles from Type Fright. By the end of it, he would get so mad at me. But I do the Stone Cold move where I take 2 full beers
Yeah.
and just smash them
Yeah.
together, and then basically pour them on your face
Yeah.
because you only get a little in your mouth, but it goes everywhere. He goes, and everyone cheers and has a good time. But the guitar player in the band was like, if you want to keep doing that, you got to start cleaning my cables.
Yeah.
We're talking cans, not bottles, by
Cans,
the way, right?
cans.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bottles
Yeah.
would be
Just
different.
gauging,
You're just
just
bleeding.
gauging.
And it's a great move because you hit them together, they
Yeah.
fly. It flies everywhere. You pour it in your mouth. Everyone thinks you're so hilarious.
Yeah.
Stone Cold was awesome though, because he was the guy who was like blue collar, told his boss to go fuck off, and then drank beer.
That's what people
He
like.
was, he's an everyman sort of thing.
Literally, like all my stepdads.
No job.
Wrestling has produced like some of the best memes though.
Yeah.
Like in terms of like just like like Vince McMahon, like with his like face ever changing or whatever, like the level of surprise
yeah.
and whatnot,
Yeah,
or like
yeah.
when Kevin Nash or whoever faked that leg injury.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean,
Great
it's
memes, great
it's been
memes.
like a part of the culture for quite some time.
Yeah, it's really ingrained in it now. And now it's like, as I said, a lot of the wrestlers today, like the wrestlers back in the day were usually like a guy who played college football
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
hurt his knee, and then some fucking pillhead at a Gold's Gym was like, "You want to wrestle?" He's like, "Sure."
Yeah.
But now it's all these like dorks like me who grew up watching it. So now it's like dorks who exercised and learned how to wrestle. Those are the guys wrestling now.
They're still dying real young.
Yeah.
They're
A
still
little
dying.
bit older.
They're
A little bit older.
A little bit older, but some of you're like that one, the big dude that just died. He was
Who's
like
the big dude?
part of the part. He was like there was a whole family of them. They had named Wyatt.
Oh yeah, John Huber.
John Huber, yeah.
He was he just died. That was like a lung disorder.
Was he? He was like
Yeah.
my age though, and he like died.
That
I was
sad.
thinking of a New Jack. New Jack.
New
just
Jack
Oh,
just
New Jack
died.
died like
Yeah.
day before
He was
yesterday.
58,
But he
though.
was a
Like,
little
he used
older,
to he used to have like a sandwich bag of cocaine.
Yeah, he was crazy.
He used to do coke during his matches.
This guy.
No
guy,
kidding.
Yeah,
He would
this
do
guy.
a big dive. He used to dive off of like fucking 30, 40-foot things, and you just like you do a little line before he jumped off. This guy almost
Honestly,
killed people in the ring. He's
This guy
insane.
made it to 58.
That's
he
what I'm
sounds
saying.
like he fucking crushed.
He was
Yeah,
he
that's what
led
I'm
an
saying.
awesome life.
It's
There's
pretty
like
old.
there's like he like stabbed a dude in the ring.
a
like, for
17-year-old
reals.
kid. He like
Oh,
almost
yeah.
killed him. Yeah.
It's like
Like not as part
Yes,
of it.
not as
not
part
a
of the
part
show.
of it. He like was just crazy, and
Yeah.
he did that whole like it was like he came out in the '90s when like like Boys in the Hood, NWA, and he was like a gangster. That was
Yeah.
like his character, and then he just kind of lived it and like
Oh,
took it
was
far.
great. It was
His
great.
Dark Side of the Ring was pretty good.
So cool.
Whew.
He went to this like Southern wrestling organization, and like their main good guy was a guy who was like an all Confederate flag stuff. Like everyone's racist. And he has this great promo where it's just like, I don't like it here. It's like all you rednecks, Klansmen, all you honkies, just yelling at him, saying they're pieces of shit. He's gonna light them all on fire.
Oh, yeah.
And then at the end he goes, I want to give a shout out to O.J. Simpson. That's two less we got to worry about. All this
Damn.
shit. I was like, he was awesome.
the shit talking was always the best part.
Well, that's
Yeah,
that
yeah.
is by far like the best part of the whole thing.
Yeah,
is the shit talking.
It's awesome. Well, if some people are good at it, yeah.
Yeah, when they're good at it. Like some people are really. Yeah, I like to watch. Like, do you ever see Triple H's first promos?
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
so
yeah.
terrible. He's
Mm,
great
bad,
at it now.
bad.
Years later, you know. But when he first came out, you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, yeah.
This
it takes him a
meathead
while.
talking about.
Yeah, he was bad.
Did you go back and buy the magazine?
No, I
Even
didn't
though
go back. But I
after-
couldn't look at it again. That's what my dad was a criminal. He was like, you could have just asked for the money. I'm like, what am I? He lived like a state away. I'm gonna be like, dear Papa, can you send me $4.75?
Like,
I wanted to steal
I
it.
haven't talked to you in 6 months, but I'm gonna call asking for a wrestling.
Why ask when you
Dumbass.
taught me to fish?
I know. That's true. That's very true.
So this was a small town,
Yeah, small town. Mm-hmm.
Where
Upstate
is
New
it?
York,
Up here?
Middleburg, New York.
Middleburg, New York.
Yeah.
Did you
Real
ever go
piece
to
of
that
shit.
store again?
Yeah, I have to. That's where
You're the only one, right?
It's the only one. My
Every
brother,
time you went in, did she like stare at you?
She did for a while, and then I moved away from that town, so I don't have to go back. But now, I mean, she's not there anymore. This is so long. But my brother lives across the street from that place.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I avoided that thing. I don't know what I was so afraid of. I'd avoid those people. I'd avoid like even going in that area. I just thought someone was gonna like chase me down and kill me.
Oh, dude,
or
I
something.
got arrested for
It's
shoplifting at a Walmart when I was like 10.
Really?
And they're like, you're never allowed in it was a Kmart. You're never allowed in Kmart ever again.
Never
Uh-huh.
in this aisle again.
But I literally, for so many years, I was like, oh, I can't go in there.
You just
I'm
someone
just so
tells you
scared
something.
to go in there.
Yeah.
Like they're never gonna remember me.
Yeah.
In like if I'm in like a totally different town, like they have a database and like the technology is so incredible, face recognition.
Oh my god!
I walk in 35 years later,
Right,
and I
right,
get
right.
That's
rearrested.
insane. That's what I was telling you about. So this same cop arrested. So he arrested my brother. My brother can't drink. He's bad at drink. My brother got drunk and was like ripping bushes out of people's yards.
Oh, fun.
Like he's fucking Donkey Kong. And then my dad, we got a Walmart one town over. My dad was driving my brother and I in there, and we noticed a cop right behind us. My dad always had a bowl on him, and I was like, whoop, and he like went to tuck it under his seat. And the cop came up to the window, and my dad's window didn't work, so he opened the door, and the bowl just fell out. Of the parking lot. He's like, I'm going to just step out of the car. And he was like, boys, you go inside. So we went inside, and then Dad, like, worked it out somehow. But this cop, yeah, he got me, my dad, and my brother.
Oh, the same cop
yeah.
got all you.
He's like the boss hog.
Yeah, I don't know why
Every
he's
time.
coming. Them Salengo boys at it again.
Them Salengo boys.
Reading magazines.
That's hilarious.
Everybody always asks me if whenever you do our show or whatever, they always assume, and I did too, like you're from like West Virginia.
That's what everybody thinks. There's just
Yeah.
like people don't think there's white trash anywhere else.
Dude, that's
It's like,
right.
but upstate New York is very much
It's very
southern.
close-minded, in fact.
Yeah,
you
I know. It's
20
not right.
minutes.
We're everywhere.
We're
20
in
minutes from
Norway.
here in New Jersey is redneck as fuck.
Yeah, yeah.
The second you get out of Hoboken, it's fucking redneck as it gets.
Yep.
Confederate flags, the whole nine.
Yeah,
Big
it's
ass
insane.
trucks. It's like the same shit.
Pennsylvania Pennsylvania, you go to Pennsylvania, like,
Oh, yeah.
you go like an hour outside of the city, there's Trump signs
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Pennsyltucky.
Yeah.
My parents live in Ohio, and they said that all the Trump signs are still up. Like a lot
Still
of people
up? Come
haven't
on.
taken,
Embarrassed.
or they just crossed out 2020, wrote 2024.
Good
That's
for
Like they
them.
literally didn't even get a new sign. They're like, no, we're still going.
Every
Yeah,
4 years, it's going to cross it out.
Even
Embarrassing.
after he's
I
dead.
did see this guy. I saw a video of a guy and his neighbors. Finally, they were like a cul-de-sac, and the neighbors finally took the Trump sign down, and he played taps. On the fucking trumpet or whatever, or bugle, whatever. I was like, that's hilarious.
That's so funny. Holy shit. Yeah, it's
Oh
embarrassing.
man, so you staying above board these days? Any run-ins with the law lately? You
Not
good boy?
lately.
Good.
Luckily.
That cop
No.
doesn't come to
Yeah,
hunt you down.
if he just came and found me here.
Just knocked on your door,
I've been
like.
searching 15 years, you son of a bitch. Yeah, I haven't had any runs. I don't know. I should. You know, I do illegal stuff. I pee in public constantly.
Oh.
I feel like that's gonna get me one because I've gotten blatant about it.
You just do it.
Uh,
You just do it. You're like.
I just
fuck.
do it, and it's one of my great pleasures.
There's no
in life.
bathrooms in New York.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
And
I
I do it too.
I've
Yeah.
seen these dudes.
I've definitely
So
done it.
so yeah, but I do it. But I go like right around the little sign into the dark, just a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah,
Pee over there. But I saw a dude. I saw the dude the other day just pissing away from the track.
Yeah, I've seen.
Just
I don't
on
do
the-
that.
I'm like, pee on the tracks at least.
It's
like just
insane.
on the
Yeah.
platform, just pissing right in the
It-
middle of the platform.
I see.
You can't
that,
walk
yeah.
up to the edge. I was like, man, you're a fucking.
You're ruining it for the rest of us.
It's
you
true.
know?
bold. It's bold.
One bad apple.
one
Yeah.
bad apple.
Yeah. No, I've seen a lot of dicks in New York.
I'm
Dude,
bad.
more than anywhere else I've ever
More than
been.
anywhere.
I'm bad at like leaving a bar and like a minute later being like, why didn't I pee? I knew I needed to pee.
That's
And then that's how I end up
do, and
doing
then I
it.
still have to. I've got to pee. I've got a bladder. I might have diabetes or something. I've got bladder problems. but
I
have
mean,
to
you
pee
did pull out a
constantly.
now and later out of your pocket.
I found this. Yeah.
I suspect I'm in the same diabetic boat because I have to piss all the time.
Constantly. It's-
Yeah, I drink a shit ton of
frustrating.
water, but I'm always
Yeah.
dehydrated.
It fucking sucks.
Which is
Yeah.
never a
We're
good
dying.
sign.
That was a
Yep.
kidney stone, not a Starbucks.
I just put a nice package. What is this?
So, are you?
No,
I would say you're a married man now.
You would say that, yeah.
Yeah, I would say that for sure. You guys, do you think ever someday you're gonna be like, hey, this is the story of our lineage right here to a son, an heir
Yeah, certainly.
to
yeah.
the Salengo Empire, and you'd be like, I want to break the cycle with
Yeah.
you, and like, do you ever envision that as a dad?
We'll
someday?
see, I think.
It sounds like it's a generational.
It's
thing.
kind of
Like,
generational. I mean, I'm like the best of my family, the least criminally minded. Now, like the older I get, the more crimes I'm committing. I didn't get it out of my system when I was in like my teens and 20s. I'm getting worse as I get older with committing crimes. But we'll see. I don't know. My son, I feel like if he's my son, he'll be kind of a pussy. That's something I can pass. That's something I can pass down to him. But I don't know. He might get my wife's. They're crazy intense too. She's very scary. So I think it's more of her blood.
How does she feel about your wrestling
She
addiction?
doesn't. She puts up with it. She
She puts up
tolerates
with
it.
it.
She tried watching with me a little bit when we first started dating. Now she's giving that up, but she understands it. You know, she loves like Drag Race, you know,
Okay.
and stuff
Oh,
like
yeah.
that,
Very
which
similar.
is very similar.
Very,
Yeah.
very similar.
It's like they just don't fight, but it's like she understands the.
but they
the
do the
draw to
splits
it.
a lot.
They do the
I've
splits.
seen
Lot. They
it,
could
yeah.
fight if they wanted to.
Yeah, they get into cat fights a
They
lot.
do, yeah.
Which are sometimes actually more entertaining
Absolutely.
than like a bad wrestling match.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. But most people understand wrestling at this point because they, you know, whatever your interest is, it's kind of stupid probably and unnecessary.
That's true.
So people
I
can
mean,
get it.
It's also kind of, I mean, speaking of Trump and whatnot, it's also kind of infected
Everything, yeah.
Yeah, culture in the sense of like
Mhm.
how we operate in politics now,
Yeah.
or even how like comedy operates and how people are like shouting out, calling out, or whatever. You know, it seems like just
Yeah.
like theater and whatnot.
Performative,
Mhm.
yeah.
Right.
Broad
Because all the big
performative.
comedy controversies, a lot of them are just two different camps of people get mad at each
Yeah.
other, but nothing happens in reality.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like
Uh-huh.
everybody's still, all right, well, I'll see you at the show.
Yeah.
You know, sort of thing. And
I mean,
don't
I
know.
think it's
I
cool
like-
anything that brings people joy.
Yeah, that's
Like,
great.
It's it's not for me, but I watch hamburger documentaries.
Yeah, whatever.
At night,
Hamburger diet. How many of them are
There's
there?
more than you'd think.
Wow.
Well,
All right.
the
I'd be into that.
comedian or
He was great.
Yeah.
Is great.
Or
It's also
Neil
like-
Hamburger.
I
also.
like
Neil
Neil
Hamburger is
Hamburger.
fantastic.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I seriously, and it's like I told that to someone, and they're like, "Yeah, like cooking." I was like, "No, it's not even cooking. It's
What's
just
it about? The history of the hamburger?
like the history of regional American
That sounds
hamburgers.
great.
It's
Send those
fascinating to me. I
wanna
will.
see that. Yeah, I
This
love that
is the
shit.
whole thing.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, yeah. If it brings you joy, whatever. Who gives a fuck?
That's
I
what I was
mean,
like. And I'm
it's-
one to judge. That's what I like.
That's
You
what
know.
I like. Yeah, because I can't judge anyone's interest about anything, and it's fine.
Well, that's and also you have to think at some point in time, people were feeding people to lions for entertainment.
Yeah.
So you have to figure a
Absolutely.
little theater and just a couple of sweaty guys wrestling around is not that.
Pretty tame.
In
pretty cool.
comparison.
Pretty cool.
You can say wrestling is an indication that we've evolved as a society. Actually.
Yeah.
I will say also what's kind of funny is that when I was younger and I had disdain for it, I thought that people were like, don't they know it's fake? Like
That's
that
the
kind of
thing.
thing. And it's reflective of how dumb I was because
Buddy,
I
this is
thought
ripped right out of my essay.
because I
that
thought
just wrote.
other people were so dumb
Yeah.
that they were being fooled by it, but it was also pretty dumb to believe that everyone else, that was how everyone was enjoying it rather than not being fooled by it but enjoying it.
That's the thing is like now, especially before, they finally admitted it was fake. 1989, Vince McMahon in a court of law because he wanted to dodge
Really?
the fees that like sports.
It's
had
like
to
their
pay.
Tucker Carlson. where
Yeah,
they
yeah. He
wanna
like
pay
finally
stuff.
said it was entertainment.
Yeah.
Before that, like mostly everybody knew, but nobody would really admit it.
Oh,
But this
yeah.
is the first time publicly, and they thought it would like kill the business, but it actually made it bigger than ever.
Yeah, right.
Because people just admit like why they like it for other reasons and the artistry and the story behind it and stuff like that.
Would you ever see
Truth,
that
truth always wins.
John Stossel thing with that
Yes,
wrestler?
Dr.
Yeah.
D.
Yeah.
I watched that whole thing the other day.
Yeah, it was like,
Awesome.
didn't he? If I memory serves me correct, he said like, "Oh, wrestling's fake," and then Dr. D smacked the shit out of him. He's
Yeah,
like, does
yeah.
that feel fake?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right, yeah, because it's fucking painful.
Mhm.
And I thought it was, growing up as a kid, I was like, I thought it was cool that these two grown men were coming to my town to settle their disputes.
Is that fun? It's pretty cool.
Like,
you could have done
guys
this
came all the way
anywhere.
to Toledo to like
It's
show who wanted this more.
You'd
That's
be
awesome.
shocked, like at some of those like deathmatch things, where like how many people have come up to me and goes, "Is that real blood?" I was like, "Look at this production. You
Yeah,
think they can
it's
afford
insane.
squibs and like fake blood?"
Oh yeah.
It's
Oh no,
insane.
that's all very real blood.
That's the thing when people call it fake, and what I think pisses wrestlers off when they use the term fake. They're like, it's predetermined, and we're like not trying to hurt each other. But a lot of people get really fucked up, especially the death matches. I can't even watch that a lot because people are really fucking hurting each other, and I'm like, ugh,
Yeah,
that's a lot.
I think that's really probably
It's
the area where I
intense.
checked it out. Is like, I don't want to watch some guy bleed.
It's pretty
Like
bleeding
that,
from the
like-
head, stuff like that. But when in the death matches, they're like bleeding all over their fucking body. They're going through real glass. and I'm
fire
like, this is
and stuff.
intense.
Was that I
Jesus.
got a couple scars up here from one when I got my head cracked open, and the amount of blood that came out
Oh, God.
versus the minimal amount of pain that was really there.
That's a huge scar.
yeah,
though.
and but it was also like, oh, it's just so there's so little tissue between
Yeah.
this and
Yeah.
your skull.
Yeah.
Can I, for full disclosure, I just thought that was a frown line.
Yeah, I
I
kind of
Yeah,
thought
I
because
didn't
you're
know- I didn't know
you're such a
until now.
grumpy bastard all the time.
You're just
I
so
thought
Everybody
that's
gets
from
this
you
idea. I'm
fucking
grumpy.
sulking all the time. You're just like, I thought that's from you being like these fucking.
I
I've
was
been
just-
thinking really hard.
That's hilarious.
once-
These guys didn't know.
I didn't
I
know
had
until
no
right
idea.
now.
Wow.
I just
There's
never
a two
noticed
scar.
it.
What
Yeah.
happened?
I was attacked by a squirrel
Oh my god.
when I was a
True?
kid. Yeah. And the other one was
That's very funny. now.
the other one was fighting in the Navy. We were wrestling in the Navy. And it was like half serious, half like fake or whatever.
Yeah.
And like, that's the thing with like for me with wrestling or even fighting is like I talk some shit, but I don't ever get in a fight because I'm afraid I'll kill somebody on accident. Not that I'm like a
Sure,
skilled fighter
sure.
or whatever, but it's like,
Got those big ass hands.
I mean, if I catch somebody the wrong
Jeez
way,
Louise.
it's gonna. Even in an accident, the wrong guy, motivated or whatever, he hits me, I'm gonna fall and hit my head on the curb and I'm dead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just don't want to. I don't want to engage in that sort of thing, anyways. But we were wrestling and we had these phone booths in these engine rooms, so you could call up to communicate with upper deck or whatever, and then you and we were wrestling. I just came up like in this move and like hit my head right on the corner of
Oh my
it.
God.
It didn't really hurt that bad because it was foam padding, but like I just caught a little bit of like a metal edge and it
Yeah.
opened it
Yeah.
up a little.
When
Fuck
I
yeah.
was a little boy in Ukraine, we couldn't wear our shoes in school. You had to bring you had to bring slippers, and you would change into your slippers. And I had my slippers and a metal shoehorn, and me and this other kid were like playing swords, but with our bags with our shit in them. And I hit his head with my metal shoehorn, and I cracked his skull.
Holy shit!
And I remember going home to my mom and being like, hypothetically, what would happen if I were to like crack someone's skull? And she was immediately just like, you cracked someone's skull? What? And then, yeah, like a day or two later, he was back at school with like a fucking bandage around his head.
Wow.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. He was okay.
He was okay?
Yeah, he was okay.
Was he mad at you?
No, we were friends. Wow. It was like an accident.
It all worked out.
He got it. Yeah.
That's great.
That did you go to ballet school?
No, it was just in elementary school.
Oh,
we had other
Russian
differences.
ballet school. It makes sense. Like,
yeah, no, it's different from here.
Yeah, it's really easy. This part to bleed is crazy.
Yeah, that's where the wrestlers all cut, and they just get a little razor blade and cut right here because when it mixes with the sweat and everything, it looks like huge.
A lot of blood, yeah.
So we do this dumb thing, or it's brilliant, where we rate the crime.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, out of 5 bears. It's completely arbitrary. It's more just a discussion point, I suppose. Where we take the crime that you committed and whatever, you give it a rating. Or
I feel like there's been way better crimes on here. I feel like it really didn't bring.
No, well, that's the thing.
It does say petty crime.
All right, it is petty.
Yeah, there's way too many serious crime podcasts.
Yeah.
That's true.
There's way too many murder.
We're
podcasts.
trying to bring joy back into crime.
Right. And
Like
none of us want to do
magazine.
like research.
Yeah, and we're also not trying to like actually incriminate someone.
Sure. All right. Good.
Right.
So
But our
good.
next week's guest is Harvey Weinstein.
What's he up to?
Yeah, but so I'm very like, I commend your friend for not being a snitch, and because him not getting caught, and then also, or excuse me, for you not being one.
Yeah, you're not being a snitch. Good for you.
Sorry, because
sure.
that's a
gets
true
extra
point
points.
where it's like stealing is bad. However, you know, as a principal, even like it's that thing like your parents tell you, your dad, if you have like a decent dad, is like, yeah, what you're doing is wrong, but you don't rat out your friend because like that's your fucking friend. It's like you don't know why they're going through a thing. And honestly, like the convenience store, they probably had insurance or whatever. They weren't going to sell that magazine.
They upcharge them shits like 200%.
You being charged for that and arrested and being harassed by the law, I'd have to give that a half a bear.
Half a bear, okay.
That's the first ever half out of 5
Yeah.
bear.
Wow, that's first ever half.
No. It's a good
good?
No, the bears are in your favor.
Oh, I
and
want
that's
less
fine.
bears. Okay.
Yeah. I will say I don't know your friend, but I've seen a lot of similar dynamics of friend who steals a lot and maybe younger or friend with less experience stealing who's led by the other one to steal. And there's almost always a dynamic of the other one gets away with stealing because the less experienced one gets caught and makes a distraction from him to get away stealing. I'm not going to say that was the intent, but that's just very often from personal experience as well, the dynamic with these sorts of things. That woman, immediately I was just like, it just seems when it's somebody that young, you can be so much smarter where like, I don't know what your margins are, but you can probably afford to lose a fucking magazine if that's what's going to happen and not call the cops on somebody and maybe like appeal to the kid. Like you can have them. I don't know. Maybe I'm like wishful thinking here that there can be some like normal dynamic between an adult and a kid where you teach them a lesson, but you don't ruin their next fucking year or whatever it is.
Right.
I think she just reached her breaking point. There were a lot of kids hanging out there stealing and shit.
Yeah.
And I wasn't like, I wasn't one of the bad kids, but I think she just, it was
you were finally the one.
You were the straw that broke the camel's
It wasn't
back.
an isolated incident.
Well, I'm trying to be fair to everybody, but I'm going to give the magazine theft, like a fucking half a bear as far as a crime, especially at that age. It just seems like your typical fucking kid in a candy store shit.
You're right.
It's a tale as old as time.
You're right.
Yeah.
I did great.
You're a good boy.
For the crime of stealing the magazine, I'll give it 1. For the crime of being an adult wrestling fan,
oh jeez, I forgot that.
I'm gonna give that a 3. It's like I understand it, but I don't know if I condone it.
What about the hamburger thing? You love hamburgers.
He's not an
I
incel.
do love hamburgers.
It's not like he's one of those wrestling
He's
guys.
no. You're right. You're right.
I fuck.
You're right. No, and it's the judgment. It's a judgment-free zone. It is a judgment-free zone, and I did throw a little bit of judgment. I should have met in the middle.
Well, what I love is that being a comic, like you hope to find a partner that is not necessarily a comic, but will be tolerant of you being a comic.
Right.
And you found a partner that like really gets it because she's a comic, but then you had to like wrestle.
You had to
still
like
still give her something to deal with.
Something you have to tolerate.
Something that she lays awake at night thinking, did I make the right choice?
Oh yeah, I find her just staring at the ceiling. You can't make it easy on them.
Yeah.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
No, so I think stealing it's a 1 because you shouldn't steal, but you're a kid and like it's a fucking magazine.
All right. So what I get 2 bears out of 15?
Well, you
rate it yourself.
This isn't just us judging
So
you.
you lowered crime. I think it was fine. I'm gonna give it a bear because stealing is wrong, but I knew the right way to do it and I didn't do it. So it was my fault.
Broke your own
Right.
rules.
I broke my own rule.
Oh, that's classic
So
addict criminal behavior.
Mm-hmm.
You broke your own rules.
Fucked up.
True.
It was my fault.
That's how they get you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, you want to tell folks where they can find you?
Oh, folks, you can find me at Casey J Salengo. I've got my own podcast, The Good, the Dad, and the Ugly.
Hell
It's a
yeah.
lot of fun, and that's fucking it. I got a show at Littlefield every Monday at 8.
Do you ever
That's
post
happening
your
tonight.
essays? Or is
Now I'm
this like a
thinking about it. I
personal
posted
pursuit?
one.
A collection,
I posted one
maybe?
a while ago, but yeah, I think once I get enough, maybe I'll put
A
them
collection
up. I might
of,
get a blog going.
Yeah, I like
yeah.
it. Ooh, a blog.
Hell yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, thanks for doing it, bud.
Thanks
That
for
was
having me.
fucking
Thank you,
awesome.
Boys.
Yes. Should we should do the Wolfpack thing?
Oh,
Too
Sweet.
Bushwick Bears, petty crime review.